No one would have believed that in the early years of the 21st century, human affairs were being watched from the timeless world of the cloud. No one would have dreamed we were being scrutinized as someone with a microscope studies a culture that swarms and multiplies in a petri dish. Few men realized we were being watched across the gulf of cyberspace through screens and electronic devices. Minds immeasurably more evil and deceitful than ours slowly drew their agenda against us. The Martians, for that is just one name we could call them, because they are a solar cult, had touched every facet of our lives. Stone, wood, coal, our entire natural resources through an imposed way of life. On the 9th day, I saw the system machine was devouring, draining the flesh, blood and souls of humanity, men, women and children, and injecting their parasitic mindset into them. The stranglehold of the martial claw gripped something, the lifeless, soulless bodies, and they dragged their minds away, and there was nothing I could do to prevent it. Then it touched my boot, and I froze. Still and motionless, the claw latched onto the body of a clergyman and dragged his unconscious body away. I peered through a window slit and peered through that creeper veil. After staying hidden away, locked down for so long, I clambered through the dark. Not a trace of the Martian. The day seemed dazzling bright, the sky a glowing blue after my imprisonment. No chemtrails, just beautiful blue skies. The red weed had covered every scrap of life, but spirit had kept swaying, and oh, the sweetness of the air. Again I was on my way to London through towns and villages that were blackened and silent, desolate and deserted of souls, individuality and independence of the corporate claws stripped them of their life as the stranglehold had increased. Man's empire had been taken swiftly, without error, by these creatures composed entirely of grey. Unhampered by the complex systems imposed upon man, they used corporate bodies for their needs. They never tired, never slept, never suffered, as they had all but eliminated anyone that stood in their path, using fear, diseases and other morbidities upon an unsuspecting humanity. With our species on the brink of extinction, it's hard to believe that many actually played computer games, blind to what was unfolding all around them. I knew I must leave this strange dream house. There was a dozen dead bodies on the Eastern Road, their facial features hidden by symbolic gags. All was still, houses locked and empty, shops closed, but looters had helped themselves to wine, food and various other material devices. I stopped. It seems the desolate had adopted the fear and solitude of the system. The desolating cry tried to work upon my mind. The fear and negativity around left me feeling weary, footsore, tired and hungry. Why was I wandering alone in this city of the dead? Why was I alive while London was lying in state in its blackened shroud? I felt intolerably lonely as I drifted from street to empty street, drawn towards that cry of the system. I saw over the trees from Primrose Hill the machine. Upright and still, abruptly the negativity and fear stopped. The solitude became unendurable. All that remained was gaunt quiet. I looked up. The corporate tower, as upright and lifeless as every other corporate body. An insane resolve possessed me. I would give my life to the creature here and now. I marched tirelessly towards the Titan. I saw blackbirds were circling and clustering around the head. I ran along the road. I felt no fear, only a wild, trembling exultation as I ran up the hill towards the motionless monster. Out of the hood, hungry birds pecked and tore at the red parasite. I clambered up Primrose Hill, standing above the system encampment. Slain when all of man's devices had failed by the humblest of Mother Nature's life forms, unconditional love. Directly the invaders had arrived and fed and drawn on the power of the unseen, the wisdom of the Creator stirred from the slumber. The minute photons of light, the signs in nature and stars guided us. The torment was over. People scattered all over the country, leaderless and starved. The thousands who had fled, all would return. The pulse of life would return once more, growing stronger and stronger. So that concludes my little update on the War of the Worlds, bringing it into the 21st century. But remember, again, the War of the Worlds is an allegorical story. The war is actually within your mind, between the conscious and the subconscious. It is finding that dialogue between the two and finding your way through, walking this narrow spiritual path. When everything seems so horrendous in the external, that is when you start looking to the internal for the answers, because that is where they are. The subconscious, the divine feminine, is returning in full power to restore the balance. How many will continue to listen to their ego, masculine side? How many will allow that dialogue to come through? There may come a time when I can tell this story, when I am looking back at a past, when it becomes almost inconceivable that humanity behaved in the way it does now. But slowly and surely the tide is turning. The sheer desperation that everything is being rolled out upon humanity in multiple ways through the newspeak, the government and the media, all united in telling you variations on the same message over and over, but few can see the truth that is hidden within that. But stay strong, because we will all get through this. There is nothing to fear except fear itself. And if you doubt in yourself, you allow that fear to come in. So stay strong, find that Christ within inside of you. It is in each and every one of you to be found. It is your chance, it is your opportunity. You have the free will to decide what you wish to do. Ta-ta for now.